Hello everyone, I know it's been a while, but today I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be ranking every single chess opening. So that's not like random openings like A4, A3 and stuff like that, but just the major. We got B3, we got C4, we got D4, E4, and not the moves itself, but like the openings. I'm not going to go in like say Pills defend this and this line. No, it's or Sicilian, just E5 and D4 also D5. So let's get right into it with the worst chess opening there is, which is 1G4. Sorry to say this, but this opening is absolute garbage. I have nothing positive to say about this opening. D5 is the best move here, immediately attacking the pawn. And after bishop G2, bishop G4, black tries to get this pawn, this rook here. And the thing is, like, white doesn't even have to defend it with like E6. He can even do this. This is a counter gambit, of course. And the idea is this. And apparently I have a good position, stuff like this. Yeah, it's weird, but like that just shows the opening is so absolutely garbage that white doesn't even have to give up anything, basically. Black can even give up anything, I mean. Yeah, but like 90% of people will play this here, queen b3, and here's like a cool trap. If e6, you can take. If c takes, you win the bishop. You know? So really, you can just let white capture here. Like you can just, I think you can actually play e6 and just take like this. And if I remember this correctly, you can definitely do this. And here black is just completely losing because he's losing the bishop with mate. And yeah, there's something to do here. So like what should you do here? Just this, let the opponent capture. I mean, I'm talking as black. But as white, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like there's not much to do. I mean, you can like try to retract the queen or something. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to do. And I say, let's just move on to the second worst opening, which is the good old E4, E5, King E2, the Bon Cloud. And the Bon Cloud is a very, very weird opening because it's just absolutely horrible. Like, black can just play normally and just have a totally good position. And I mean, you're obviously playing this to troll somebody, but I mean, it might not be the best engine choice, but a line that I could think of here would be like if black develops passively, you can play something like this. And you could maybe even get a fine position here because the bishop could go to like here, trade itself off, and the knight is on h3. And I think you get a fine position here. But you do have to play, actually, yeah, you do have to play maybe d3 first, put the bishop here, and get the king to g2. And this is the only way, like, I can see white ever having an okay position, maybe not like this, but white ever having an okay position. Like, let's say this, you could maybe even try this, and then bishop e3, and then you're going, or in this case, you don't even have to play bishop e3. You just go here, like you do this. Like this is acceptable, like at least, because like you're getting the king to safety, and you're just kind of like baiting the opponent to go towards you. And I mean, black has an attack, yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's not that strong because like all your pieces are here, and the king is kind of enclosed. That's the way to play this. You can also go to chess.com and look at GM Hammer's video on this if you want. So next up, we have the band opening, which goes h4, d5, and rook h3. This is called, chess.com calls it the beginner's mistake, which, yeah, take, that's the line. And white is just saying, come at me. Like, let's say this, the idea is to sort of do this. Like, if you're really trying to do something cool, you should sack both exchanges and do this and this. But obviously, you don't have to do that. I believe Magnus played it like this, and like this passive way, which is quite cool, and you can strike in the center. I mean, I'll be honest, like, if you're not like a GM who knows exactly what he's doing here, like Brandon Jacobson, like you have nothing to do here. I mean, you can do this, maybe you can do this, maybe you can do this. Sorry, c4. But I mean, it's a really, really bad opening. And as black, you just play calmly, just normal, nothing special, and you could just win the game because you are an exchange up at the end of the day. So yeah, let's just continue with the next opening, which is the good old fashioned cow opening. I'm sorry, I'm not Kremling, but this is just absolute garbage. Like if oh wait, that's not even the move. Like this is the line, right? And the point is like I don't know, bishop d6 I guess is better. The point is this: you have your knights here, and now your bishop is going to f3 and c3, and black can kind of refute this by pushing his pawns here, and like now this has to be played, and now he's forcing like some sort of weakening. And he can also always strike in the center. It's not actually too good. Like, let's say, oh, wait, not this. Let's say black were to go like all in with the center. This isn't actually that good because now white has kind of what he wanted. This like overextension by black. Like, I'm not sure actually what to play here, but he can just sit back, you know, and just do some stuff, and white should actually be kind of fine here, because like black, if black then wants to play h5 as well, like this is just way too overextending. Like maybe you can play this and get the queen out or something, I don't know. But yeah, I mean the cow opening is a fine opening, obviously, but I mean unless you're playing it in bullet or something, I would never recommend this. Next up I picked b4, the Polish opening, and like to be honest, I don't know much theory here, but the idea is kind of that white even does this, which I mean, first of all, it looks like white is even better here. White isn't like, this isn't a terrible opening by any means. Like this is totally fine. I've even seen people play this in classical. It's really fine. Like you just get an okay game. But like at the end of the day, white isn't doing much at all. Here, for example, lines go knight f6. And now white just develops normally. He goes like d5 and like c3. And this is just a very weird opening because black just gets a lot of play. I mean, this is just a waste to move the bishop twice. So let's move on. And next up, I have the birds opening. Can be quite good, but usually it's really not. Like it's really not that good of an opening. Because like if black just plays like this with c5, putting that on f6, like he just has a totally fine game. Like these pawns are strong, and like if you play this as a Stonewall, I think it's fine. But if you play like the real like birds opening things like this, like you're not gonna have a good game. Like e3, c5, like you're just not gonna have a good game at all. And I mean white just has basically nothing. He can try this. This is also a line. It's kind of about weakening your king. Let's be honest here. Let's say something. White plays like bishop g4, stuff like queen b6, c4 with the bishop here and the knight coming, going somewhere are very popular because the diagonal is very, very weak. And then also this diagonal, the bishop's diagonal here from h8 to a1, can also be quite weak with the bishop here in g7. It's not a bad opening. Like you can definitely play this. I've seen like 2100s play this opening with success. Like you just have to be a good chess player, and that's about it. Next up, we're going back to e4, e5 with the Danish gambit, or the center game. And the reason why I don't really like this is white just does not get sufficient compensation at all. Like it goes like this, right? Yeah, I mean if black just plays bishop before check, the Copenhagen defense, this is a good try because now you don't want to put your knight here. This bishop needs to be open, so king f1 has to be played. And now if black just plays knight f6, he's like completely fine. He's even better. He could also play king to f8 right here, which shows you just how ridiculous this is. Like king f8, king f1. Yeah, I mean, if you don't know 100% what you're doing in this line, like when you play knight to d2, you're just immediately like very much worse, definitely. Knight to f6 simply, and this is threatened. And I mean, like e5, and now the point is like you're blocking onto your bishop, like kind of 94 is coming in even, or like if not 94, it's just d5. But yeah, I mean probably 94. And like if now, like if you just played like this, yeah, you're defending, but your position is kind of, it's just horrible. So you have to play bishop f7 here. Sorry, no, yeah, right here, bishop f7, with the point that if king takes, you have a fine position due to queen b3. Simply queen b3, and you just win the bishop. If d5, you're thinking, oh yeah, I can capture the bishop. Well, no, knight to c6, and you're cooked. Like you're literally toast. Like you're done. Queen b3, and just knight takes d2. Like if king takes, black just simply has a rook to e8. And this seems completely weird, but black is -3 here. And that's kind of the thing, like, even though white has some compensation with the bishops, I guess, like black just has a simple game with like the Copenhagen defense. And yeah, I mean, this is completely fine for black. I would not worry about this at all. And next up, we have the Nimzo Larsen. This is a good opening in my opinion. I played this in classical before actually. Like the best setup is this like a reverse London. But what most people are going to play against you is this. And the idea of what you're doing here is you're going to place your bishop here. You only put your bishop on b5 if e5 is played, because then like you're kind of chipping at the center. And let's say bishop f5 castles here. This is also like, this is like the reverse London. It's different. It's not necessarily better, but it's definitely different. d4. Let's say bishop e7. Knight d2 here is played. c4 is played. Maybe even c5 could be a bit better. Simply because black just doesn't get like a huge queenside expansion. He just has to sit back. And this is a fine game. It kind of reminds of like a queen's gambit. Obviously with the pawns here. But just a better one. I mean, this bishop is out. And black has nothing to fear here. But maybe like in this line with the reverse line that I just said, black could get himself into some trouble if he's not careful. Like let's say, actually no wait, the bishop has to be on d6. Let's just say something like this. Like if he castles, castling is you shouldn't castle this early because white is going on the queenside assault. And wait. And you need the rook here to counterattack with h5. So c4, or actually a3 can even be played here. Let's say something like this, and you just develop normally. Like this is, and like white is almost like even getting through. And this is a good position for white. I mean, he has some major space here, and unless black is finding some kingside play here, which the rook isn't here, so it's going to be definitely difficult. I think from a practical point of view, this position is definitely good for white. So let's continue with the next opening, which is a d4 opening, finally, right? d5, the Blackmar gambit, or to be more specific, the Blackmar-Diemer gambit. This gambit is very, very poisonous, but black can actually get a fine position here by actually playing e6, the Ewe defense. And white is going to play bishop c4. And black is now simply playing bishop to e7. White is going to castle, black is going to castle. And white is like almost always going to play bishop f4, which is not the best move here. Bishop e3 is the best move, but let's say bishop f4. Wait, castles, bishop f4. Like simply knight to c6. And this pawn is kind of weirdly defended because white definitely wants to put his knight somewhere. This is, I mean, he's like good here in terms of defending, but he definitely wants to go to e5. And that is kind of like preventing this. So you have to play something like queen d3 here. And white has to have very sharp theoretical knowledge. While black can just kind of play like a6, b5, like let's say, just say something like rook to e1, b5 immediately now, and bishop e3. And I mean, yeah, he can even chase away the bishop fully. And I mean, black's completely fine here. I mean, this is not a bad opening. It's very, very tricky, and I think it's even better than the Danish gambit. But if black chooses this setup, it's really hard for white to actually do a whole lot, because like he's probably losing this bishop. He doesn't really have a direct attack. I mean, yeah, his pieces are much, much better, like I have to admit that. But I mean, he doesn't really have much chances here. But, you know, we're slowly getting to the really good ones, the really good openings. So let's continue with in e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, the Ponziani. It can be very tricky, for example, in this, the Danish counterattack. And the idea here is this, and if d6, for example, this is a trap here, this, and this is almost checkmate, which is insane. But I mean, this trap is kind of good, but the opening itself isn't that great for white. Like, if black plays correctly, white is going to have a tough time, definitely. So basically what you do here is you don't actually play knight f6, which is the most natural move, but you play d5, because, you know, always when c3 is played, obviously when takes, and I can come here. So e takes, now obviously the move, queen takes, and now here there are ideas like in the Alapin of going like knight to a3, but most importantly, white is playing d4 here. Black has never taken here. Like, that's like kind of a trap even. If black takes, white is much better. He has to play bishop to e6. Yeah. And if bishop to e6, simply bishop to e2. And now black can simply take now. And you may ask, what is different now? Well, black can castle now. Like this. And if knight to c3, yeah, I mean, simply queen to d7. And black is totally fine here. I mean, it's an equal game, which is good, obviously. I mean, it's a tricky opening. I'm just showing like how black can equalize it and like why I'm not ranking it more highly. So let's just continue with the next opening, which is e4, e5. And you guessed it, the King's Gambit. I was really debating whether to put this below some other gambits, but like it's a good gambit, definitely. But this line can get tricky. Here there's a line that goes like this, and this, the Muzio Gambit, and the point is the pieces here. I've actually had this played against myself 1 or 2 times, and it's not that dangerous, but is if you have no idea what you're doing, like this can get definitely quite dangerous, because black is going to have to give up his piece back basically, and then just defend. So queen f6 is here the best move, and now e5. Now obviously you have to take because your queen is attacked, and like d3 here. And the idea is now that this comes with tempo, like it's all about tempo. So you have to play bishop to h6 here to defend, obviously. Bishop d2, now with the threat of this and this. So be careful here, but simply knight to e7. If bishop c3, simply queen to c5 check. Like rook to f2 has to be played because of d4. Simply queen c4, obviously. So rook f2 has to be played, and now, I mean, you can just like simply castle. And it looks very scary, like white can even give a check again, but I mean, you just go queen g5. You just defend immediately. And the ideas can even be that you're attacking white with like king h8, rook g8. And your king is quite safe actually, and white's king is not that safe, definitely. So yeah, the King's Gambit is quite cool actually to play, but if black knows theory, you're like actually screwed. So you can also play a different line, obviously, in this, which is d4. But like if g4, you are definitely going to have to sack a knight. In this way, it's definitely better, engine-wise, but it's still not very good. Black is better, but he has to know this. Knight c6. You know, bishop c4 maybe. And here again, like d5 now. Which obviously seems like it loses a pawn, but it really doesn't, because of knight takes d4, obviously. And if bishop takes, also knight takes d4. So yeah, I mean, this is you definitely have to know this defense, d5. And the best way to play this is actually bishop d5, not d5. And you allow this, which seems very counterintuitive, but queen d3. And now what has to be played here is not just knight back, but bishop g7. Or knight to e6. But very important that you don't play knight to f6 here. And as white, I mean, you definitely have a good position. If black doesn't know any of this, black is definitely screwed. Because your queen, like, if you look right here, like, if black doesn't know d5, if you just play, like, normally, you're just going to get overrun. Castles and this f7 point is so weak. There definitely are sacks here. That I think is why you have to play d5, because if b6, don't you just have this? Yeah, you definitely do just have this. And if this. I think that's good, yeah. And I mean, this is, yeah, it's King's Gambit. You can play King's Gambit. I respect King's Gambit players a lot, because they are just willing to sack anything just for an attack. And I mean, most people probably aren't going to play that aggressively against you. They're probably going to play this, which now is like kind of fine for white. He has a game here. I'd say King's Gambit accepted is just the best move for black, because like white has an extremely difficult time. I would say play the King's Gambit, but you definitely have to have some like attacking knowledge, and you can simultaneously also be not too high rated, because then people are going to have theoretical knowledge against this. So yeah, but play this if you want. It's not a bad opening at all. But let's continue. Yeah, next up we have the King's Fianchetto opening, also known as the Hungarian opening, with the idea that white can blunder on move 2, which happens a lot, because it seems like intuitional, because you play this against an Nimsa Larsen, right? But the point here is that black is going for this. You can play King's D attack, obviously, but white is going for this. Like, if you just play normally here, like this and this, you're cooked. Like, you are almost immediately cooked here. Like, this is terrible. Like this, and I mean, it already looks kind of bad. I mean, you get some nice play here. You're threatening this, you know. Maybe even this has to be played. But here, I mean, white has this. White, you know, can get his pieces to optimal squares, and you just have a good game. I mean, I don't really have much to say about this opening. It's fairly simple to play. I know this was a kind of a bad variation, but I mean, yeah, I kind of just with this, I kind of just showed the plans. The plan is to go e4, and yeah, to play in a hyper-modern style. You can even do it like this, and you can also transpose into a Catalan very easily. You can play d4, and you can just play c4, and eventually maybe even knight f3. But you can also keep the bishop open like this. I mean, yeah, it's a good opening. Honestly, I don't have much to say about this. Like, for example, if this, you can even go into an English. Yeah. So let's continue. Next up, I have the Jobava London, which I personally like for blitz, but there's a line here where you play c5 immediately, which is very, very strong, where you play a6 and c5. But what most people are going to do against this is this. And if bishop f5, this is kind of the cool line. I've had this exact position with black in a classical game. It's just obviously fine for black. White has to definitely play very well here, like this. But I mean, white gets a very easy game. He has lots of space. He's going to castle queenside, maybe even play e4 or g5, whatever he feels like, basically. My game continued here. I played queen to c7. Because, I mean, this was a long time ago. Because I just didn't know the position at all. I wanted to play this, obviously. And here my opponent played this. I played this. he played this, this, this. And I just won by going like this, winning this pawn, and infiltrating here. He castled queenside, and he did this kind of setup with going queenside castle, king b1, rook c1, and then he played c4 and tried to attack me, but I defended quite well. So yeah, I mean, it's a good opening, yeah. But again, I kind of have my concerns, seeing as this knight is blocking this pawn right here. Black has a fairly simple defense with just going like a6 and c5. Like I think you can even go here immediately, or you can start with a6 or e6. And I mean, Black just has a completely fine game. Like again, it's completely fine and nothing much. If Black knows theory is fine, but like if he doesn't, he's going to get absolutely run over by these pawns. And it's very fun to play. Like just as James Canty, it's very, very fun. Like I have to be honest, like it's quite fun to play. You get some very exciting positions, and I would recommend it to basically anyone. But proceed with caution, definitely, because white can get some serious play if you overextend with these pawns. I mean, black can get some serious play if you overextend with these pawns. So let's move on with the next opening, for which I've chosen the Vienna game. I like this for beginners, but like knight f6 here is the main line, the Falkbier variation, and this. And the point here is queen f3 is played most. This is played. This is the main line, but ever since Gotham Chess, this has been played a lot. And the point here is just to play normally, like knight to c6 simply, and bishop to e6, and black just gets a completely fine game. Nothing much to say here. Again, you just develop normally, you castle, but not even this variation for black I would recommend, but this variation, which is here can get quite dangerous. For example, this, the copycat variation, queen g4, and these lines can get extremely sharp. Here white can play this, yeah, this, here, and there is no mate. Just be sure not to hang it with d3. But the point is, you have an insane attack here. King f8 has to be played, and now it's just a normal game. I believe you even can play knight f3 here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think so. On rook f1, and you're kind of getting out of this. And this is a cool variation, obviously. But yeah, I mean, for black, like let's say get into the Vienna gambit. Like if black isn't careful, like this is going to happen. And here a cool variation. This, wait, this, and this is one, for example. This is very cool. Because like if he doesn't play queen e7, he has to go back, simply d4, you're getting this pawn back. d6, you can, I mean, you can take, you can play knight f3 first, maybe if you want. Oh, I think, oh wait, I actually blundered here. You have to play knight f3 first. And then d4. And then you're eventually taking back. Like you can even take with the knight here. And you have a good game. I mean, I would definitely recommend this. This is an amazing opening for beginners. But at a bit of a higher level, it's just not that good. And like engine-wise, also it's not that good. So let's continue. And we're staying in the e5, in the e4, e5 realm, by looking at the Scotch game. The Scotch game comes after this. And what black has to do here is this, and he can play this or this. This here, black's going to take, he's going to play e5, queen e7. This is, for example, like an insane variation. And black continues with g6, bishop g7. Actually, no, wait. No, knight d5, b3, and now g6, bishop g7. And this is a fun variation, but this is the funnest variation for black. But black can also just play bishop c5. Here there's a cool variation, the Potter variation, with the idea that he wants to play this and f3 and just absolutely assault your king. Like a few years ago when I just started playing chess, I played e5 and I played bishop c5, and I got completely mauled by this, like completely destroyed, like in like 20 moves, and he just attacked me, and he castled queenside, played bishop c4, before developed his pieces, and just played rook g1, and then did all of this, and I just lost. Now let's continue with an opening which is kind of weird because it can be played in tons of different ways, which is the Colle system. You can play this and get a completely overwhelming attack on your opponent, or you can play this and just be solid and play normal and play like this. And like this is the main line where he chooses a symmetrical approach. And the idea here is to eventually play this, or to play this and this, which I've seen people do. And I mean, I have not much to say here, to be honest. It's a good opening, definitely. And if Black doesn't know what they're doing, they're going to get crushed. You can even play like an Imsol Larsen here again. And you don't even have to put the bishop on b2. You can just play knight d2, let's say c5, c3. You can play like this, the traditional line. And you can eventually play e4. And you can just put your bishop, oh, that's actually a blunder, and you can put your bishop out. Yeah, an example of how to play this aggressively is this. Yeah, and this is kind of like a London with no bishop f4, which brings us to our next opening, the London. And in the London, the most boring opening on this list, you have to be careful. And like here, there are even like some sort of traps like queen c7 and this immediately. And if takes, obviously this. This is a solid opening, especially if Black just plays like unambitiously. I like the variations where White goes like here and trades off this bishop and just gets a good game. Like for example, variations like these are very good for White. Even e4 can be a plan here. But most importantly this, and maybe even f4, which is kind of nice. And yeah, I mean, this is a totally fine game. And yeah, it's very, very low theory. Now we're getting to the seriously good openings. First of all, kind of a weird opening, which is the Stonewall, which I very much like for White because it's seriously hard to do anything for Black, basically. Knight c6 is actually like very little bit inaccurate. Like what you want to do is just like, you just want to do like bishop c7, and then you want to play b6 and bishop a6, and you want to trade this bishop off and go like this. And obviously, as you can see, this is the main point of White's plan. This, and then attacks including, first of all, knight f3, and then g4, g5, h4. And if Black doesn't know what they're doing, this can get very, very, very dangerous very, very, very fast. You might recognize the Stonewall from, like, let's say just this, with like the Dutch, just simply. Actually, I can, yeah, with like the Dutch. Let's just do something like this. Just some random, honestly, just some random moves. Wait, why did I play c5? c4, c6, I mean. And here again, White does this. Because without this bishop, these dark squares are very, very weak, definitely. Because, like, you can think about this, he can think about this, 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 you can think about this, this, and occupying the c file. White definitely gets some play. I mean, here, Black even has a tempo less build because he's Black. But, like, for example, here, this is a very good position. And it's maybe even kind of controversial to put this above like London's and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's a good opening, and let's just continue. Well, next up we have an e4 opening, which is the 4 knights. And the 4 knights is boring. Well, boring. I mean, there are tricks like these by kind of like waiting. You can maybe, maybe not. But there are tricks like these, and it's I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like this is I mean, you can go back to Scotch, like this, for example, knight b3 here, or knight b5, or bishop b3, or whatever. Or you can play a just normal Spanish. Most of the time you're not going to play normal for knights, you're going to play a Spanish variation, an Italian variation, or something like that. And I really don't have anything to say about this. Like, I find it boring, but it's obviously quite good. As in, it's solid, and it's just an okay opening, just simply. Let's just continue with the next opening, the ready opening. knight to f3, which I've actually recently started playing. I mean, e6 can be played here, but this is just the queen's gambit at the end of the day. So this is the ready. Here e3 can be played, g3 can be played, but this is kind of like the best move, even though the engine doesn't like it that much. And here the Blumenfeld gambit is a very cool gambit. It's basically a Benko, but you have more space and you're tempo up. So basically just a dream Benko. You play a3, eventually you develop your pieces normally. Bishop d3, like you have a bishop on a3, you trade this bishop off eventually, and you have like insane play with knight b5 on the queen side. But I mean, it's also a different move order, like this you can play it. But I mean, you can also play this. You can also play it like this, which is, I mean, now you have like zero space. But your bishop is most of the time better, and your knights. This is just a Benoni basically, and it's definitely just Benoni, for example. But it's not quite a Benoni because f5 is a bad move here. You can play f5. It's a bit weakening. But yeah, I mean, going back to this variation, which is the main variation, this is like refuted, like sort of with f6. Now, there aren't that many good variations. This is like almost main variation. Yeah. And black definitely has played here, like Levon Ironian has played this. I mean, first of all, almost nobody's going to play this at your level, at my level. Most of them just play c5. But this is a very good variation, and you definitely have some play here. Like you can trade this bishop off, you can play queen a4 and just have like good play with this. You can also attack on the king side. I mean, you can put your knight here, and you have a good game definitely. And yeah, with that, let's get to the best openings there are, because now we are in the top 4, and in 4th place I have the classic Italian game. I love this opening. This is an opening near and dear to my heart. This is good. The knight attack, you can play this for example here, but like most of the time this is the Gioco Pianissimo, and maybe this, an expansion on the queen side you can play. And also play like completely normal, just simply like this, and this is a good game for both sides. What I like most is I like facing this Gioco Piano game immediately, and here I like playing this. I've made a video about this. It's a very good variation. If like, let's say something like this, it's a very good variation. It's excellent for white. I really like it. Engine doesn't love it as much as other variations, but it's definitely good. And also there is aggressive gambits like the Evans gambit. This is a very interesting gambit, and you have some very cool things here. And there's also like more normal stuff, but aggressive stuff, like the bird's attack, where you immediately trap the bishop maybe, and now you just go into like a main line Gioco Pianissimo with this, which is also good. Like this is a good opening. And yeah, overall I really like the Italian game. There are of course also some gambits you're going to have to face, like this, the Rousseau gambit. It's very cool. But yeah, let's continue with the next opening we have. Actually, I made a mistake. This was the 5th rank opening. In 4th place, now we're in 4th place. I have the English opening. The English opening is, I don't know too much theory. I know some of it, like for example, this is like sort of the main line. Castles here, rook e8, here d6, like something like this. And this. And here you can even sack your knight. This could get very cool. Yeah, but there are also lines like this, where now you can maybe even play e4 or stuff. But a lot of times you're going to face the symmetrical. Here you can play knight 3, you can play g3. g3 is more sort of flexible. And the best line here, for example, is just to sort of demonstrate, is this here. Very symmetrical. I know the Botvinnik system, amazing game. the cool thing here is you have this pawn triangle, yeah? And, you know, there's a saying, wherever your pawns point, that's where you should play. And here the pawns point here and here. So you can play f4, f5, g4, g5, f6. I've won games like this where the bishop is just absolutely trash here. Or you can play a3, a3, rook b1. And oftentimes you can play both, and then you kind of force your opponents to compromise kind of their position by, for example, bringing the queen here, bringing the knight to the queen side. And now, because you've only used like your one rook and your pawn here, now you launch an attack here, and there's a bunch of arrows, but that's kind of the point. You use one side to draw your opponent's pieces to that side, and then you go on the other side, kind of. There's also this cool line, which is like here. You go knight e1, and now you go here. Also a good line. Black has to play something like rook b8, maybe immediately. And yeah, he just plays a5 and castles and b6, and now he goes on the king side. So it's very complicated, but very cool stuff actually. So let's continue with, in my opinion, the second best opening, which is the Spanish, you guessed it. This is an amazing opening. I've played this a bunch. Yeah, I mean, this is totally cool. I mean, d6, I mean, I know a bunch of theory in like this one line. h3, like you go like here, 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 and you go like here, and you go like bishop b7 and rook d8. This is like the Chigorin variation, which is the most popular, but there's also the Breyer variation. There's the Averbach variation. There is the where is it? c3. There's this. Wait, no. Do you play b5 first? No, this. No, wait. Castles, rook e1, this. The Marshall Gambit. I don't know what it is. Is it this? Yeah, this is the Marshall attack. And this is quite cool. I mean, it's so much theory. That's why I don't necessarily like it that much. Also these variations, and I mean, it's very, very theoretical. That's why I don't like it as much. But it's obviously a very good opening. And not much to say here, man. I mean, you have the normal e4 plans with stuff like this, and you can get some even stuff like this, trading off this knight and attacking with your rook. And you can play a positional game on the queen side, chopping at this. You have a lot of possibilities. But yeah, let's continue with the next opening, which is, in my opinion, the second best opening in chess, the Queen's Gambit. In the Queen's Gambit decline, this is the main line, the positional Reshevsky line, d7, like, and you go like this, even h6 first, or you can go here first, and here, 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 and now you're going, actually here knight e4 is not possible, but here white is just much better. This was very good. You go for e4, and you have an insanely good game. You can also play, which is also more than fine. Here you can play like this with a knight on f3, which is very much more positional. But now black gets this, which now he gets like a lot of kingside play, which he doesn't really get in in this variation. And here again, white can play on the king side. He can play e4. He can play in the center. He can also go for the minority attack. The minority attack, by the way, is very, very strong. I could say here, you know, you go b4, b5, you soften up the pawns, you go knight e5, you go rook b1, and you just win the game. And black has some serious play here in this variation. But in this variation, like not so much. Like it's not that good for black. I wouldn't recommend this. That's why you should just a quick tip. In the Queen's Gambit, start with this. You just avoid this whole positional line, the Karosec variation. And now you wait, and now you play this, and now this is just not as strong, simply, and you get some more play. But yeah, having this said, the last opening, in my opinion, the best opening in the entirety of chess, comes also in the Queen's Gambit. But you might have guessed it by now, the Catalan. This is my bread and butter. I love this opening so much, and I think it's the best opening in chess. Because if you're under 2000, like, your opponents are just simply going to play this. And here you just play queen c2, you know, you do this, this, you got like bishop f4, 95, you play c5, now your opponent's bishop is trash. This is amazing. Now, what I like to do more is I like to play the Catalan, but I like to play it in this move order. And most people here, I like playing the ready, which is why I play this, but most people here play this, and now I play g3, and now I wait for them, because now I can't play this check, and they also can't play the open Catalan, which are both very annoying, but also better for white. And now you do this. And this is just the main line, and for example here there's queen e6 is a cool sideline, but a6, c6 can be played, knight d7. You can also play with white crazy lines like knight to a3, because now obviously b5 is not possible. And now you get some serious play here with this and this. And there are so many possibilities. People think it's so much theory, but it's really not. It's amazing. It's an amazing opening. For example here, I think this is the best line. You can simply play queen a4. But there's also like completely amazing lines like this. Yeah, now I got it. Here. This is it. Yeah, now I got the line. And here, this is also very, very interesting, because most of the time white plays knight a3 saxa knight like this, not like knight takes c3, which many people don't know. And like queen h5, for example, is a good line. And you go to h3 and you just have a perfectly good game. Nothing special, but also a good game. I feel like this is the best variation for black. It's very cool. Very exciting game. And yeah, I like it. So this is the best opening in chess, in my opinion. The Catalan opening. It's amazing. I love it so much. And you should play it too. You should give it a try. Unless you're under 1600, because then you're just going to not understand anything that's happening. No front to you. But if you're under 1600, you should play like the Scotch, the Italian, maybe the Spanish. But yeah. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, obviously. And I'll see you next time. Bye.